Hello and welcome to another Making Money with Python episode. Here we have another short task from Upwork. This is a website data scraping task, and it's from a new Upwork user exploring the world of employing freelancers. Predictably, the tasking information here is quite scarce. The client asks, I would like to scrape the contents of this website. Can it be done? What would be the cost? This is a site of an Irish real estate company. Let's take a look. Normally I follow a simple workflow for these sorts of tasks. IAEOU, investigate, acquire, extract, output, and use. So let's start with investigate. Here you can see the page. It's a simple table with several columns, and if we scroll down we can see there are about 80 entries here and 120 pages. Let's inspect the page and see what we have. You can see it looks like a simple table has been used to format the page. Fancy R table row, fancy striped, fancy topic, fancy cell. So it should be relatively easy to extract some of the information. We could use requests, we could use beautiful soup, we could use scraping. But often with tables there's a more elegant way of doing this. So let's look at the network tab. If we select fetch XHR and then we refresh the browser, we can see there's a little bit of network traffic here. And we can also see two products. Under fetch, we have some information. We can see from the header that it looks like a request to an API, and we can see Dublin / page 1. And if we look at the response, result, what we have looks like JSON data. Total records, 9562, page number 1, of which we have a list of dictionaries under records. This looks like data that we can use. It looks like the data is listed in records, and the information is in a dictionary with headings of ID, title, sales price, asking price, beds, baths, date of sale, difference, and uppy downy. Uppy downy? Your guess is as good as mine, but it looks like a flag for if the sale made the asking price or not. Real estate agents. And you think coders are weird. Anyway, it looks like the information here is what we need, and it's all in strings and integers, no messing around with dates. So let's acquire that data. It's a simple data scrape, so we can import requests, and although we've not been specifically asked for it, we'll make an Excel document and use pandas for that, so we'll import the pandas package too. We need the API URL, which we can copy from the fetch request. And now we need some API data, so we use the requests library, requests get API URL, and we want to parse that using the LXML parser, and then we'll check to make sure that we've got the data. And here we are with a response of 200. 200 means the request was executed correctly, and if we look at the text we can see the data. Again, not easy to read, but you can see titles, IDs, prices, uppy downies, and all the information we need. But it's in a different format, so we need to look at the JSON format of this. So if we type API_data.json and call it as a method, then what will provide us is another result. All the information from the JSON data, nicely formatted so we can read it. So let's assign this to a specific variable. And what we'll do is we'll look at the first record so we can get a closer look. So what we need is to take the records entry and look at the first in that list. As you can see, we have all the information we need. ID, title, sale price, asking price, beds, baths, date of sale, difference, and uppy downy. So that's on the first page. Let's have a look at this works on the last page as well, page 120. So let's change the URL, rerun the cell, rerun the requests. As you can see, we get another good response, 200, and again our text looks like we're at page 120. So it looks like our approach will work. So now let's extract the data. So let's put our data into a pandas data frame called output. Now if we wanted 120 pages, we'd loop through the API call, the API URL, by incrementing the page number until we get to 121. But I only want to show the concept here, so we'll limit the pages to just 1 and 2. So we'll have for I in the range 1, 3, which produces a value of I, 1 and 2. Now the URL we can create by using an F string. So here we have URL equals F, the main string, and at the end you can see the braces. The letter or the variable I will change with the I for the range. So in this case it'll be 1 and 2, but it could go up to 120 as we've seen. So let's just clean up our notebook a little bit, and that'll make it easier for us to read. And now with our URL crafted, we can use our faithful requests command and extract the data, placing it into a JSON variable. Next we'll create our own list of records by extracting the records from the JSON data, and we'll step through each of these records, create a data frame for the record dictionary, and then we'll concatenate that and add it to our output data frame. We do this using the concatenate method, which takes a list, and we're going to ignore the index. To make sure this works, we'll just add the output value to the notebook, and when the cell runs we should have a list of a few entries for the data frame. And finally, let's clean up the notebook and save the output data frame to an Excel file called output. So let's just review our code. First of all, we import our pandas and requests, then we create a data frame for the output, then we create an iterator to run through each of the API calls, we request the data, we convert that to JSON, we extract the records and step through each record, each time concatenating it to a final output data frame. That data frame is then saved to an Excel file, and let's just check by stepping through the cells to make sure our output is the same as we find in our Excel file. Here you can see the information in the data frame, and you can see the output Excel file. This then goes off to the client for use. So finally, let's review the project. The requirement was to scrape a real estate page for the information on Dublin properties. We achieved this by inspecting the page, identifying there was an API to exploit, and using a combination of JSON data, loops, Python dictionaries, and pandas data frame, we populated an output pandas data frame, and we created an Excel file. It's a good little task and a good little learner for someone on Upwork. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and look for more in the Making Money with Python series here at Charming Python.